Sunrisers Hyderabad's second loss in a row. Lucknow Super Giants are 4 points. We had a pretty decent game today, which Sunrisers almost went to win, but then Lucknow Super Giants, of course, definitely had the quality with them to go over the line. So we got Adi back with a new look, bearded look like Kane Williamson. How do you summarize Sunrisers' life so far? Did anything change from 2021 season, Adi?
I think a bit has changed. There's like a lot of promise, but again, at the end of the day, what matters is how many points you put up on the table. That is still like zero. So it's like the first match was a horror show, right? Like for SRH, it was more like a nightmare. What all could go wrong went wrong in the first match. This is a much improved performance, as Kane said in the post-match, media interaction with the commentators. But essentially, it wasn't still good enough. So lot of things to learn. Some things went well, so I'll take it from the top. Think in the power play this time we had a much better power play with the ball. So LSG Lucknow Super Giants were 27 for 3, which was a great start. They opened with Washington Sundar, which was again a good thing. Then again, they did not bowl Umran in the power play, which is again good because he's pretty new and he doesn't have variations. It's tough. But then the negative points were you did not bowl Washington Sundar out just at the start when he was doing well. You
Yeah.
kept one over of his for the death, which went for what, 16 or 17 runs. Then Umran Malik gave 20 odd runs and ended 3 overs 39, which was again like a bad night for him from a how many runs he has given standpoint. So yeah, overall uh, better than last time, but still not good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And from a start point of view, you're absolutely right. I think in the power play, there were 7 runs per over and ended up with eight plus as a required rate. So again, our
Yeah.
death bowling definitely seems to be a big gaping hole. And Umran Malik, as much as we say that he needs control, I mean, it is difficult. He needs a lot more experience for that. But I don't think Dale Stein is trying to change him every game. They are just letting him go because he's youngster. But what do you think? He should continue playing all the games given he is a retention player. And second, Abdul Samad, should he have bowled more than one over, Adi?
No, I think Abdul Shama should not have bowled at all because he's a very high risk bowler, in my opinion. I don't think he takes wickets. He's not like threatening, and he gave away just 8 runs because I think that was the seventh over after just the first over after the power play. That is the time when teams kind of try to cool off. So, yeah, like I would rather bowl Umran than Samad. That's my take on it, right? So, having said that, like Samad, as we are on the topic of Samad, I think he had the worst possible day. He let go of two boundaries that kind of cost us 4 to 6 runs, right? And then I think one catch also was dropped, or it was probably like a 7 on 10 tough chance, but you expect and hope fielders who are young and who is athletic and who can catch these. He did not catch that, and he got like a one ball duck, like golden duck. So he did not have the greatest of games. Both with Samad and Umran, I think in a couple of games we have to look at them. If they're still not performing after one or two more matches, we have replacements in the in the squad. For Samad, you've got Kartik Tyagi, you've got Saurabh Dubey, you've got other Indian fast bowlers, or you can remove Romario, play someone else, and then also play Marco Janssen, right? So you have that option as well. And then with Samad as well, you've got we need a batsman. It's not like Samad's 1 or 2 overs is going to move the needle. So you can play Priyam Garg, you can play, if you want a bowler, you can play Shreyas Gopal. So there are multiple options, right? So it's not like, hey, we retain them, you've got to kind of stick with them. If they're not delivering, you have to be cutthroat and kind of move on and find other players who could potentially perform.
Yeah. And few comments are coming in. Number one, should Samad have batted ahead of Sundar?
I don't think so, especially after what Sundar did the last match, like 40 or 14. So it showed that uh, he was in good form. As very disappointed with the way Romario Shepherd batted because the over which changed the momentum was Avesh Khan's over, when Puran hit a six of the first ball, I think, of that over, and then SRH needed 34 of 23 with 6 wickets in hand. That kind of 6 or 7 wickets in hand that you should win those matches, right? More often than not, and we ended up not losing by 1 or 2 runs, but 12
12
runs.
runs.
So that just showed that Romario Shepherd wasn't able to connect. Even Puran, he had a pretty horrible start when he did begin his innings. I think he was on 3 of 9, 4 of 10, and then he eventually ended with 34 of 24. So he kind of covered it up. In his last 14 deliveries, he scored like 13 runs. That's what you need. I think Sundar wasn't able to connect in the end. He did okay at the start, but in the end, no one was able to connect. Like there was no 4 or 6 in the last couple of overs, right? So Romario couldn't connect, Sundar couldn't connect, Bhuvi couldn't connect. So what
Yeah.
have you left with? So yeah, it was pretty disappointing. And then I like the idea. The other comment which came in, Abhi- I know the team has invested a lot in Abhishek Sharma to kind of highlight him. He's your, all rounder, but he's not bowling, and I don't know if he's a good enough spinner. Oh, sorry, good enough to get into the team just to be an opener. I would rather, as the comment from Ravi says, I would rather open with Abhishek Tripathi. Today as well, he was the one who kind of got us out of the hole after the power play. In the middle overs, it's really tough to hit those runs. So I would actually open with Abhishek Tripathi. And then Kane, I think 2 matches in a row, unlucky dismissal, right? Like the last match, I think it was not out. The umpire kind of messed up, in my opinion. And then today as well, he was trying for the scoop and it hit the arm guard and then popped up. So yeah, like other batsmen needed to step up. Tripathi did well. Puran, okay, slow start but recovered. But no one else did anything. Like Markram hold out trying to go for a six. Abhishek Sharma hit like a couple of boundaries. That's it. So yeah,
And what about Markram's dismissal? Why the hell does he have to go after Kronal Pandya when other side Tripathi was going at 140 strike rate? He could have just
exactly.
simply
Like I
released
was like, dude, like just take singles, hand it over to Tripathi. Once Tripathi gets out, maybe then you try to hit it. Yeah, I was very disappointed with that dismissal because when both of them were playing, Markram did well. Every ball he was taking a single, not many dot balls, giving it over to Tripathi, who was hitting a boundary every over for 2 or 3 overs in a row, and that kind of kept SRH up with like the required run rate. Stupid shot like brain fade by Markram, and then yeah, like lesser side of Samad the better, and then Romario Shepherd, yeah, couldn't deliver. Like I think this was the situation where Odean Smith in the same ground won the match for Punjab Kings, right? But here, Romario Shepherd, the same was expected of him, but he couldn't deliver. And we gave away too many runs in the death. Like,
yeah.
ideally, at 27 for 3, if the team was there, I was thinking 140, 150. What do you think, Suman?
Yeah, I was actually thinking 140 was par score on this, and the start bowling start we did, the 140 was also out of bounds. We should have gone out all round for 120. We gave 40 extra runs like we always do. But the only positive I have seen is I think the strike rates, except for a couple of batters like Markram was less than 100, but everybody were trying to play the shots. And another positive I've seen is Washington Sundar being able to utilize both bowling and batting. But how? Let's spend some time on Lucknow Super Giants. How good is Avesh Khan and Bishnoi? Avesh Khan figures are 4 for 24 with a 6 economy. Bishnoi is none for 29, 7 for 7 economy. I think those two made a difference, Adi. Andrew Ty, of course, all we knew that they'll go after. Jason Holder will come to it, but Avesh Khan and Bishnoi making the difference for Lucknow.
Yeah, I think more than Bisnoy, Avesh Khan, because 4 for 24. And even in the power play, the first 2 wickets were for Avesh Khan. I think he was 2 overs, 2 for 9. So he got both the wickets, 9 runs. He did not concede the runs. And then once he came back, the game changing over where he got Puran out, and first ball was six. After that, he got Puran out, then he got Samad out, and then 2 dot balls to Romario Shepherd. Right. So that kind of changed the whole game in Lucknow's favor. He had a great night, and then also I would say Deepak Huda's innings was really good because at
Excellent.
that point in time, KL Rahul he needed to one end he needed to shore up because they were 27 for 3. He was not going for the shots. KL Rahul took like the anchor role back then, and then Deepak Hooda hit Samad for I think 1 over 20 runs, and he also hit who was the other bowler who he took on? I think he took on Romario Shepherd as well in an over. So at the death, Bhuvi and Nattu were really good, but Romario Shepherd and Sundar, I think 2 overs they gave away like 32, 33 runs, and that is the difference, right? Like if it was 2 overs 20, the target would have been 155, 160. That could have been chaseable. Then the target got out of hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And Shiva makes a good point, which always is crossing my mind when you were talking about like Umran Malik and Samad. Should we drop them? I mean, retentions clearly now hindsight are not well thought through for Sunrisers because Abhishek Sharma, Umran Malik, and Samad are at the brink of getting dropped.
Yeah, it's. I would say this like Samad and uh, Umran were the only two retentions, right? Abhishek, we bought him in the auction for 6.5, which is again, auction is auction. 4 crores is okay for them. Like looking at the prices Indian all rounders or pace ballers went through, it was okay. But now questions are whether you continue to play with them, right, or not. Like I think in the auction we got Bhuvi for 4 crores and Natarajan also for around 4 crores. So both of them are performing well, and if you look at current form, it feels like they were a steal. So those things are okay. I would just say that they're not informed, right? Like Samad, both matches nothing home to write off. And Umran Malik, I don't know, like he should develop a Yorker more or kind of have a plan and just go with it. Right now, I feel he's more like, hey, I'll run in fast and bowl like length or short of a length balls, which might work on some days, but it's like a high risk option. Deepak Hooda was really good today, and then he was able to hit Umran Malik for so many runs, and here we are, right? So one more loss, and one thing I'll say is like at least with 0 points on the points table, we have like good teams for company, Mumbai Indians and CSK. So yeah.
Okay, and we also have Lucknow Super Giants owner from London joining in Sanjay Dubey. How was your India Yatra? And you seem definitely happy with the 2 points which we gifted you.
Yeah, India Yatra was very good. I caught up to the first two games of Lucknow, the one at Wankhede and the one at Brisbane, which is a very good game. काफी मतलब तीनों गेम इंटरेस्टिंग हुए हैं एंड लुकिंग एट द performances from CSK, Mumbai Indians. I mean, I can't complain. पहला भी मैच जीत जाते तो और भी अच्छा होता. But this looks to be a very tough tournament to get in the top four. So I mean, 7, 8 games might do the trick, but sub games काफी competitive हैं. So everything did not go our way, but in the end, SRH को जीत जाना चाहिए था. I was working most of the time, then came back home. पूरन जैसे ही आउट हुए बोले मतलब कि अब तो इनका मतलब जीतना मुश्किल है, बट आवेश खान ब्रिलियंट स्पेल, तो हाँ, can't complain.
Yeah, his over kind of changed the game because when Puran hit that six and everyone was like, okay, match done, right? In the first ball of that Avesh Khan over, but Avesh Khan did really well to come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the points table right now. Rajasthan Royals sitting on top pretty, 2 wins out of 2 games. KKR are 2 out of 3 wins. Gujarat Titans 2 out of 2. Punjab Kings 3 out of 2. So those are the top four right now. And at the bottom, it looks like mostly a project management update. All reds for CSK, MI, and Sunrisers. All rag ratings are showing as completely red. So where do Sunrisers go from here, Adi? The pressure's mounting. I think what like Sanjay mentioned, the minimum of 7 games to be in a chance to qualify for top four. So what are we looking at for Sunrisers? Any knee-jerk reactions, or they should continue to persist?
I think they should look to replace Samad in the playing 11 because everything else, Samad and Abhishek Sharma for me, like kind of stick out as, are they doing as much as how much Sunrisers have invested in them? What I would do is one, open with Rahul Tripathi. He looks in good form and make use of the power play. He can probably get you off to a flyer, right? So Rahul Tripathi open, and then if Rahul Tripathi opens, do you probably need Abhishek Sharma in the playing 11 or not? That's a question to answer. If not him, I would actually pick Shreyas Gopal as your spinner, right? Like right now, what is happening with Sunrisers is you have five good options, bowling options. Like today, if you see Umran Malik went for a lot of runs in a second over. If you had Shreyas Gopal, he could have bowled those 2 or 3 overs. But Williamson had to go to Umran Malik again for the third over because he wasn't confident in Abhishek Sharma or Abdul Samad to bowl that additional over to make up for Umran Malik, right? So I would play Shreyas Gopal to see how he goes because anything would be an upgrade over what Abdul Samad is doing currently and also uh, what Abhishek Sharma is doing. And I would open with Rahul Tripathi. And we've got enough batting depth. If Romario Shepherd again is not performing with the bat, I'd rather try Marco Jansen. So those are the only changes I would look to make. Everything else is okay. Like Puran, he did okay this match. Kane is playing. Then you have Rahul Tripathi is okay. Sundar's performing. Bhuvi and Natarajan are also doing okay. So all those are fine. I think it's just fine tuning the strategy and batting order and those sort of things.
Okay. And we got Delhi Capitals co-owner and RCB mentor Shivam Gupta joining in. शिवम क्या ख्याल है आपका आज की गेम के बारे में? म्यूट पे लग रहे हो आप.
And you forgot to add Lucknow supporter. Delhi
अच्छा.
को ना RCB mentor, Lucknow supporter.
अच्छा ठीक है.
Just three teams, no more teams.
No, I think a great game for LSG. Wonderful game. You want these two new teams to do well. Uh, you I'm bored of seeing Mumbai and Chennai win. And it's good to see some freshness around the tournament. Wonderful victory for Lucknow Super Giants. And I think now, by even during the auction, broadcast when we were discussing Lucknow team, see, you'll see this, happening quite common for Lucknow. Different players stepping up. Sometimes it's Avesh, sometimes Deepak Huda, Quinton de Kock played really well last game. Rahul will give you 400, 500 runs for the season. So, very clear auction strategy of choosing the best top 11 players like Krunal Pandya, Deepak Huda, they can walk into any IPL's first 11. So focus on the first 11. Backups can be taken care of. Yes, Markwood did not work out, but I think good auction strategy. On the SRH thing, I just one point. Okay, Rashid Khan, they could not retain for the there were news coming in, money issues and all. uh, they went for Umran Malik, Abdul Samad. I'm not too sure. Okay, you might say that 4 crores is decent for a 150K bowler, and 4 crores is decent for a Abdul Samad. But people like they should have considered Jason Holder. I mean, I'm not really sure. I think Jason Holder would have been happy with an 6-8 crores. I mean, don't know what discussions had happened, but I think that was a big miss from an SRH point of view. Not getting back Holder.
Yeah, Holder, in hindsight, he's done extremely well. He came in Tong, quick fire 10 runs. He bowled an economic spell. How about the best bowler on the Galaxy, the left arm spinner Krunal Pandya? Is it just another fluke tournament, or he's a good pick? You mentioned about him, Shivam, but is he going to be a utility player throughout the tournament for Lucknow?
Definitely yes, and for the simple reason that this Krunal Pandya is not the Krunal Pandya of Mumbai Indians who had that pressure of being the man of the match in the 2009 17 IPL final, I think. 17 or 19 IPL final. So Krunal Pandya has seen that low phase in the last 2 years with Mumbai Indians, which was very, very important for both Krunal Pandya, Hardik Pandya. So Krunal Pandya is now the second spinner, right, for Lucknow behind Ravi Bishnoi. For Mumbai Indians, I think there were matches where he was playing as the primary spinner. So that's why the added pressure, got to him. So I think a good utility player who has to play the throughout for them.
And to add, Suman, all you have to do is look at, say, Ravindra Jadeja, who's so-called premier all-rounder for India. He's not the one who's bowling this quota. He comes in as a captain, bowls the easier overs, the number 7 overs, not necessarily bowls the tough overs. He's always done a job for Mumbai, so I've got no doubts that he will do a job for Lucknow as well. He's a decent bat, so yeah, can't complain as a Lucknow supporter.
Absolutely. It was a good win for Lucknow. So let's spend a couple of minutes for tomorrow's game preview. Rajasthan Royals are going to play Royal Challengers Bangalore. So RCB are number 7, Rajasthan are number 1. So what can we expect tomorrow, Adi?
I think Rajasthan have the strongest playing 11, not necessarily the strongest squad, but I think they have the strongest playing 11. And if they actually decide to de-invest or Rian Parag, I'm not a big fan of him. I think he's their weak link because they're only playing three foreigners and they're so strong, right? They can remove Rian Parag and put in James Neesham, in my opinion. They're probably like, hey, we have everything sorted out. And I think RR are like the overwhelming favorites going into that match. They've got all their bases covered. RCB have kind of some issues with like their middle order and bowling as well. Hasranga is great, but like the others, I don't know, right? So let's see. I'm hoping. I'm guessing if I had to stick it out, like RR should win it. So yeah.
Sanjay?
That combination of Chahal and Ashwin, probably the best spinning combination. And all you have to do is look at the teams they've come out from. RCB would love to have Chahal in their side, but they only got to do with Hasranga, who's going to block a foreign player's position as well. RR and even Punjab look very dangerous, but I think RCB will win tomorrow. I'll stick my neck out and say RCB is going to win tomorrow.
Shiva?
RCB for sure, but I totally agree with Adi. I think, with all due respect, you will find these, you know, I don't know, with all due respect, these pet players, for each franchise. So Riyan Parag is like that pet player for Rajasthan Royals. Nobody looks at his performances. They look at his, social media and look at his Instagram posts. His camaraderie with the Twitter, with RR Twitter admin, and with all due respect, I think they've invested him for things off the field as well, your social media promotion as well. It makes absolutely no sense, you're playing three foreigners with players like Jimmy Nisha on the bench, who can give you that extra 2 or 3 overs every match, and come in handy in the lower middle order. So Jimmy Nishan has to come in. Heart says RCB, brain says RR.
Okay, it'll be interesting game. And Vishak definitely feels that a win tomorrow will be perfect before going to the full strength. So lots to look forward for. I think the IPL fever is still heating up. Week 1 gone. Still a lot of teams are catching up. Especially Mumbai CSK not performing well. There is a lot of less noise from the so-called fans. But as those teams start to pick up the momentum, I'm sure the fever will start. But Adi, thanks for making time. Really appreciate it. Shivam and Sanjay, good to have you back, and I'm sure we will talk on the fantasy shows. And we will see you next time. Drop us a like and comment if you like our content, and see you later. Thanks, guys.